An elderly woman was spotted walking toward the ocean, reminiscing about her younger days through vivid flashbacks. Young Asan called out to her mother, urging her to come out of the ocean. Her mother was always the last to emerge, along with the other Henio, women divers who harvested abalone, seaweed, and other seafood. While waiting for her mother, Asan was teased by other Henio, especially about little Guansik, who had a noticeable crush on her. He always blushes around her, which annoyed and angered her. Asan often visited her mother, pleading to stay with her instead of living at her grandmother's house. However, her mother insisted she remain there, believing it was best for her future. Asan revealed that her grandmother treated her poorly and would not even give her fish to eat. But instead of showing sympathy, her mother scolded her. That night, Asan's stepfather urged her mother to let her stay with them, but she refused. She believed Asan's grandmother could send her to school, ensuring a better future. She didn't want Asan to become a Henio like her. However, after reading Asan's heartfelt poem, her mother realized how lonely Asan felt and how unfairly she had been treated at home. Overcome with anger and regret, she rushed to her grandmother's house, reprimanded her family for their cruelty, and took Asan with her. Asan was overjoyed to finally live with her mother. She was also happy that her mother had read her poem, which deeply moved and saddened her, making her realize all her daughter truly wanted was her time and attention. Later, Asan was upset and in tears after losing the class president election, despite receiving the majority of votes. It turned out their teacher had been bribed by a classmate's father. Her mother dismissed it as unimportant, but Asan was adamant, saying it was unfair that the presidency was stolen from her. Determined to support her daughter, Asan's mother struck a deal with her pregnant friend, offering to do fieldwork in exchange for borrowing her pearl necklace. She wanted to look presentable as she headed to Asan's school, introduced herself to the teacher, and asked him to be kind to her daughter. As a bribe, she gifted him rice cakes, nylon socks, and some cash. On the way home, Asan and her mother shared a heartfelt conversation. Her mother told her never to back down and always fight for what she deserved. Asan then promised that one day, when she grew up, she would buy her mother a real pearl necklace. That night, her mother was really happy and made a life-changing decision. She discarded all her hidden cigarettes, determined to quit smoking. She wanted to live a long life and see Asan fulfill her promise. In that moment, she felt truly happy. However, as time passed, Asan's mother fell ill from years of diving. Everyone urged her to stop, warning that her lungs could no longer withstand the strain, but she stubbornly refused, insisting she needed to work for her children. In frustration, Asan threw her mother's diving clothes into the fire and stormed off. Heartbroken, Asan ran to the ocean, crying and screaming, begging it not to take her mother away. There was still so much she wanted to do with her. She still hadn't given her that pearl necklace. As she sobbed, Guansik stood beside her in silence. She turned to him, frustrated, asking why he was not saying anything. He simply handed her a paper bag, saying, "It's chicken, not fish." Asan scoffed, calling him stupid. She accused him of pitying her, always bringing her food, and told him he was annoying. Eventually, they sat together and ate the chicken. Asan looked at him and declared, "Even if you bring me food every day, I still won't marry you." Later that night, Asan's mother woke her up to cook her abalone and feed her. Asan treasured the rare moment with her mother. Then, in a heartbreaking conversation, her mother told her that if she died, Asan must return to her grandmother's house, beg them to take her back, and avoid becoming a housekeeper for her siblings. Asan wept, unable to understand why both her father and now her mother were being taken from her. Her mother tried to explain, but Asan could only cry in response. Her mother hugged her, comforting her as best as she could. That night, her mother sang her to sleep, crying silently, knowing her time was running out. The next day, Asan's mother passed away. Overcome with grief, Asan cried as Guansik silently brought her food, offering quiet support. She asked him what she was supposed to do, now that her mother was gone, but he had no answer. Instead, he cried with her, as she whispered how much she missed her mom. While tending to her mother's grave, Asun's stepfather asked her to stay and take care of her younger siblings, instead of working as a housekeeper at her uncle's house. She refused, saying her mother had told her not to, but her stepfather pleaded with her to stay at least until the yellowtail season ended, encouraging her to use the land to grow vegetables. That winter, while caring for her siblings, Asun and Gwonsik worked together to tend the land, planting cabbages. Gwonsik continued bringing them fish every day and helped her with the fieldwork. As time passed, Asun informed her stepfather that she was moving out to focus on her studies. He asked her to stay one last time, promising that after one final boat trip, he would send her to college to study literature. Asun made him promise to send her to the mainland, and her stepfather vowed to fulfill that promise. Meanwhile, at the market, Gwonsik handled all the selling while Asun sat reading books, a routine that repeated day after day. The other Henia women, and Gwonsik's mother, gossiped about them, but Asun brushed off their words, insisting that she never forced Gwonsik to help. He did it of his own will. This routine carried on throughout their teenage years. One day, Gwonsik's furious grandmother arrived, scolding Asun and forcing her to flee. She didn't want Gwonsik to be around Asun, believing she was just like her mother. Asun defended herself, insisting she never asked for his help, but his grandmother only grew angrier. As Asun ran away, her heart pounded with frustration and hurt. The scene then shifts to Asun and Gwonsik running away together,